Epic Showdown, Alcaraz vs. Sinner, U.S. Open's historic Grand Slam final. Tennis racket and bullfire. The most dominant rivalry in tennis continues with the U.S. Open men's singles final as Carlos Alcaraz takes on Jannik Sinner. Live on Sky Sports Tennis from 7 p.m. on Sunday. Alcaraz and Sinner, the two best players in the world, meet in a third Grand Slam final in a row, a historic feat, with it being the first time it has happened in the same season in the Open era. When the calendar turned to September 2025, tennis fans across the globe knew they were about to witness history. The U.S. Open, the last Grand Slam of the season, had delivered plenty of drama already, but nothing compared to the spectacle awaiting on Championship Sunday. Carlos Alcaraz vs. Jannik Sinner. It wasn't just another men's singles final. It was the collision of two young titans whose rivalry had become the heartbeat of a new tennis era. Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and Roger Federer had passed the torch, and now the sport belonged to a generation that played at blistering speeds, hit impossible angles, and carried with them an aura of fearless youth. This wasn't just about a trophy. This was about legacy, about destiny, and about two warriors who knew that the other was the mountain they had to climb to define their careers. The road to Flushing Meadows' glory. Carlos Alcaraz, the Spanish Fire. Carlos Alcaraz, the prodigy from Murcia, had already achieved what many players could only dream of by 22. A Wimbledon crown, a U.S. Open title in 2022, and weeks at world #1 were feathers in his cap. Yet, hunger still burned in his eyes. At this year's U.S. Open, Alcaraz had bulldozed through opponents with his trademark explosiveness, forehand winners struck like lightning bolts, drop shots feathered with magician's touch, and an intensity that made every rally a mini battle. Fans packed Arthur Ashe Stadium not only to watch him win but to feel the electricity he brought with every swing of his racket. His semifinal against Daniil Medvedev had been a statement. Alcaraz danced on the baseline, charging forward like a matador, dismantling the Russians' defenses in 4 grueling sets. When he raised his fist to the New York sky, the message was clear. He was ready for one more war. Jannik Sinner, the Italian ice. On the other side stood Jannik Sinner, the cool, red-haired assassin from the Dolomites. Sinner's rise had been quieter than Alcaraz's, but no less remarkable. Once a skiing prodigy, he had swapped snow for clay, grass, and hard courts, and his decision had reshaped the tennis world. Sinner's game was built on relentless precision. His ground strokes were like laser beams, his backhand a metronome of power and accuracy. If Alcaraz was chaos, Sinner was control. If Alcaraz roared, Sinner whispered. And yet, under that calm exterior burned an unshakable will. His semifinal against Alexander Zverev had stretched into a 5-set marathon, testing every ounce of his resolve. When the dust settled, it was Sinner's icy composure that triumphed. As he shook Zværev's hand and walked off the court, his face gave away little, but his clenched fist revealed everything. He was ready for Alcaraz. A rivalry for the ages. This wasn't their first meeting, nor their first final. Alcaraz and Sinner had been orbiting each other for years, colliding in unforgettable matches that left fans breathless. The 2022 U.S. Open quarterfinal, a 5-set thriller that went past 2 a.m., was already etched into tennis folklore. Alcaraz had won, but only after saving match points in a duel that felt like two gladiators refusing to yield. They had traded victories in Masters 1000 events, each pushing the other to evolve, to find new gears. Their rivalry wasn't bitter. It was respectful, even friendly. But that didn't diminish its intensity. Both knew the other was the obstacle standing between them and true dominance. Now, under the lights of New York, their paths crossed again in what many called the most anticipated final since the Big Three era. The atmosphere, Ashe at fever pitch. On the evening of the final, Arthur Ashe Stadium pulsed with energy. 23,000 fans filled the stands, buzzing with anticipation. The air was thick with late summer humidity, the kind that clung to skin and made every movement feel heavier. Celebrities, legends of the game, and ordinary fans sat shoulder to shoulder, united by the knowledge that they were about to witness something historic. Chants of Vamos Carlos clashed with cries of Forza Jannik, creating a mosaic of passion that felt distinctly global. The players walked out to a roar that shook the court. Alcaraz bounced on his toes, his trademark grin widening, while Sinner's face remained unreadable, his eyes locked on the baseline as though already visualizing the rallies to come. The match, a symphony of fire and ice. Set 1, lightning strikes. The first ball was struck like a gunshot, and immediately, the tone was set. This would be a war of attrition, brilliance, and nerve. Alcaraz came out swinging, firing forehands that seemed to defy physics. He broke Sinner early, racing to a 4-1 lead. The crowd roared with every winner, sensing a storm. But Sinner, unflappable, adjusted his rhythm. He absorbed the pace, redirected it, and slowly clawed back. At 5-5, the set was alive again, rally stretching to 25 shots, each point a battle of wills. Ultimately, Alcaraz's daring paid off. 2 blistering forehand winners sealed the tiebreak, and he pumped his fists toward the sky. The Spaniard led 1-0, but everyone knew this was far from over. Set 2, the ice responds. If the first set was Alcaraz's fire, the second belonged to Sinner's ice. The Italian began serving with ruthless efficiency, painting the lines with aces and crushing backhands that pinned Alcaraz deep. His patience turned into precision, and Alcaraz, for all his brilliance, began to overreach. Errors crept in, and suddenly the Spaniard was the one scrambling. Sinner took the set 6-3, his celebration muted but powerful. He had leveled the match, and his calmness contrasted sharply with Alcaraz's visible frustration. Set 3, a rivalry in full bloom. What followed was tennis at its purest, a showcase of everything the sport could be. Rallies extended into mini-movies, filled with plot twists. Alcaraz dropped shots answered by Sinner's sprints, Sinner's backhands countered by Alcaraz's volleys. The crowd gasped, applauded, and at times, simply sat in stunned silence. At 6-6, the set went to another tiebreak. Every point felt like the world was hanging in balance. At 8-7, Alcaraz produced a lung-busting rally, finishing with a leaping overhead smash that brought the stadium to its feet. 2-1. Alcaraz was ahead, but battered. Sinner was behind, but unshaken. Set 4, the marathon. If the third set was artistry, the fourth was endurance. Neither man gave an inch. Games stretched past juice after juice. The clock ticked past 3 hours. Sweat poured down. Shirts clung to bodies. Yet the intensity never dipped. Sinner, sensing the urgency, unleashed his fiercest ground strokes yet. His backhand down the line became a weapon of destruction, and at 5-4, he earned a set point. Alcaraz saved it with an audacious drop shot that seemed too risky, until it wasn't. The stadium shook again. But Sinner was not to be denied. 2 games later, he broke Alcaraz with a cold-blooded return, sealing the set 7-5. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.